The urgent search for a killer or killers. An entire community on edge in New Mexico. 4 men, all Muslim, shot and killed since November, 3 of them in the past 2 weeks. A mosque spokesman tells CNN one of the men attended a funeral for 2 of the other victims on Friday and then became a victim himself just hours later. CNN's Ed Lavendera is in Albuquerque this morning with the latest. This just has to be terrifying for that community, Ed.
Oh, there's no question, John. These murders have sent a chilling reaction throughout the Muslim community here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And it's a small community. We're told it's about 3,000 to 4,000 Muslims that live here in the Albuquerque area. But there's a great deal of concern emerging now because there's just so little information as to exactly what is going on. But we can walk you through the timeline of events here. The first murder happened back in November of last year, so about 10 months ago. That is when the first person was killed. Then now, in the last 2 weeks, we have seen a string of 3 other murders. One on July 26th, another one on August 1st. And then, as you mentioned, the latest victim was a man who had attended the funeral services of the 2 previous victims. And it was Friday afternoon. He was in the mosque behind me talking to people, asking questions about what was going on, concerned about what was going on. And then a few hours later, he was killed as well. And what one thing that Albuquerque police here believe is that they are all connected at this point. They say they have reason to believe that that is the case. The one thing tying all of the men together is that they are Muslim. There doesn't appear to have been any or robbery or any other aspects of the crime that went down that would suggest that it was something other than the men being Muslim. And because of that, the president of the mosque here was telling us last night that there is a great deal of fear running through the community here in Albuquerque.
Ed, what are Muslim leaders advising?
People are terrified.
Incredibly terrified, panicked. Some people want to move from the state till this thing is over. Some people have moved from the state. Businesses are closing. They're closing businesses early. Students won't leave their homes. People are not, it's affecting people from coming over to the mosque to conduct their services, their prayers. So in every aspect of daily life that we're used to or accustomed to following, it's impacted it in every way possible. But I get in the car and I'm watching every which way possible. I'm watching my side mirror. I'm looking in the back. I'm looking out for any sign that of anything out of the ordinary. Because I fear.
It's hard to live like that.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we don't have an alternative.
And John, yesterday afternoon, Albuquerque police released the picture of a gray, what they believe to be either a Volkswagen Jetta or Passat. They say it is a vehicle of interest that is possibly connected to the areas where one of the people were killed. So that is a picture that they went out there, and hopefully they believe that could lead them to some important clues in figuring out what is going on here.
Yeah, and we're putting the picture up so people can see it right now, obviously. If you have any information about this, please let the authorities know in Albuquerque. What are Muslim leaders there telling people? What are they advising the community to do to protect themselves?
Well, you can imagine the fear that this is instilled in so many people, because a lot of police say a lot of these victims were essentially ambushed, surprised as they were going about their lives, doing mundane things. One man had walked out of the back of the grocery store that he ran. He was taking a break when he was shot and killed. Another person was walking along a sidewalk. So Muslim leaders here are telling people to travel around the city, use a buddy system, to keep tabs on each other, to not stay out at night if they don't have to, but really just keeping tabs on each other. Do not travel alone, and always be aware of their surroundings, because they believe so many of these victims had simply just been surprised and ambushed.
All right, Ed Lavendera in Albuquerque. Ed, thank you for being there for us. Please keep us posted. Joining us now is the mayor of Albuquerque, Tim Keller. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. We just put the picture up of this vehicle of interest. Any other leads you can tell us about this morning?
Well, right now, this is the best lead that the public can help us with. And so we know this vehicle has been connected to the scenes for a couple of these incidents. And we're asking everyone, especially obviously in our community down here, to really help us track this down. It's a relatively unique vehicle. And so we know there's roughly 100 of these in central New Mexico. And so it's just a question of time and identification of finding this vehicle. And then, of course, connecting the dots further to bring justice to what's happened. But this is our best bet right now.
Obviously, all 4 victims we're talking about here, Muslim men. Anything else you can tell us about how these cases are linked?
Well, at this point in the investigation, we want to make sure and focus on that as our priority. And some of that really means not sharing every detail of the investigation. But we're very concerned that these are obviously tied together. They're obviously targeting Muslim men, and they're happening right here in our own refugee community, historically, which has been a very safe and welcoming and inclusive place for decades. And so our community is extremely in a place of grieving right now, but also in a place of outrage that this could happen in our city.
Now, officials at this point tell us they aren't using the word hate crime to describe this. Why?
Well, it was certainly a hateful act. I mean, I think you have to call it what it is. It's obviously targeting Muslim men, and it's a string of killings that are all related. We know that. Now, there are different terms that speak to motive, and I think at this point we have no indication as to motive. And we don't even have an indication as to where the perpetrator, is even from. The assumption is they're from here, but they might not be. And so it is just the norm in law enforcement communities that you don't categorize things without knowing any kind of motive. But obviously, as a person, and in my opinion, clearly, it's hate driven.
So, no exact information on motive yet, other than the identity of all of the victims. And another phrase that authorities have been loath to use so far is serial killer. Why?
Well, it's a similar situation there in that, again, we have a string of killings and they're targeted towards Muslim men. So we know that that is the case. And that's what a lot of people feel that term reflects. But if you work with the FBI and so forth, again, that term speaks to motive. And again, unfortunately, we don't even know that right now. And so there could be a number of motives that may or may not be specific to these individuals for different types of reasons.
Mr. Mayor, you were speaking about the Muslim community and the fear that must be going through that community in your city right now. If you were a Muslim man, how could you feel safe going out in public?
Well, it's very difficult right now. We know that folks in our community, in the Muslim community especially, they are afraid to even leave their house, especially at night. They're afraid to pray. They're afraid to go to school. We have school starting, including a large Muslim population at our university. And so that's why our city, we have marshaled every resource to have now police presence at all our mosques during prayer time. We're working with our different police departments with respect to safety at schools and specific sort of buddy system related programs at school for kids. And we're even doing meal deliveries for families that are afraid to leave their house, even to get food. And we're also providing counseling and trauma. So we are marshaling every resource we can to both make the community feel safe, but also try and understand that we have to support this community. And we have to make sure that we physically show up for them. And that's what we're trying to do.
I was just going to ask, what's your message to the Muslim community in Albuquerque this morning?
I think they know that this is not our city. We have had a long-standing, wonderful relationship with our Muslim community that goes back hundreds of years. And we believe that we are absolutely unified from the highest levels of government down to our neighbors and our community on the street in protecting and in supporting this community right now. And that we are going to get through this, and we're unified in that effort.